Great rising, beautiful natural beings, great rising, beautiful natural beings. Why did I start incorporating the word natural into beautiful beings? First of all, beautiful beings is for every being on the planet, whether you are a clone, alien, hybrid DNA, robot, you come to be some type of way, whether man-made or through creation, okay? Genetic modification. You're being, you're here. Robotic or not, that is using some form of energy. Okay. Um, but beautiful natural being, showing that you are flesh and blood, natural flesh and blood. You came through the portal of your mother. Okay. Now, the topic that I want to talk about. The topic that I want to talk about now is having your womb under surveillance, having your womb under control, being shadow manipulated. So what are you saying, Sky? Certain women and certain men are being manipulated so that they can't bring beings or entities into fruition. They cannot manifest them into reality. Okay. Especially if you're not protected, especially if the family you're born in don't understand who you are and you're not protected. 9 out of 10, your father and your mother were separated, and they probably understand the system, but they don't understand the depth of the system, the depths of the system when it comes down to protecting their offspring so their offspring can bring a new light being into fruition, more like a Christ figure or a Messiah, right? Now, this is interesting because certain time periods, they did a lot of genetic modifications so that women can bear children, okay? And now they're using different forms of weaponry through food, water, and all that. But if that doesn't suffice, if they can't get you there, they have to isolate you. They put you in a position where all the men you meet shut your heart space down to the point that you're not willing to trust them. Same goes with a man. All the women he meet or attract shut his heart space down. Then they may make you question your own reality, make you question who you are, something wrong with you, something ain't right. You get what I'm saying? Questioning your own behavior. And you're not the one to submit. So what's really going on? So when you are blessed and highly favored through genetics, and you're able to open up portals and you're able to do spiritually achieve things that other normal humans can't achieve, they start to shadow govern you dramatically. Okay? So I'm going to give you an example. I'll give you a few examples. First of all, they tried to shut my heart space down permanently, and that didn't work. Okay? Then when they seen that I was still able to attract a dominant, prominent figure in my life to bring on children, which I don't want children. I said I'll never bring children in this world unless they live outside of the system. And I've never found a man that understood what I was talking about, that my child is not going to collect Social Security, nothing. My child will be born under tribal law. Our situations will go through federal court. I will stay in the system, but my child will not. So men don't know that. So if I were to have a child by a man, I have to just choose the strongest man, the strongest heir, the strongest genetic gene pool that's connected to source, okay? But let me hip you to something. I had a dream that I had a chocolate baby. All I ever wanted was a chocolate baby, okay? A Nubian god or goddess. That's all I ever wanted. Even though we are good, brown skin, different shades got different potentials, okay? But I wanted to practice the energy frequency with darker skin. I wanted to be able to isolate the baby, which I shouldn't be saying this online, but I wanted to be able to isolate the baby and see what I could bring about of this child. So I had a dream that I had a dark baby. It was a boy. I don't want a boy. That if it's a boy, that means that I'm in love. This partner is going to bring out a side of me that allows me to let down the shield of having girls. So my firstborn child will be a boy. So the guy is on the bed with me. We got the baby in the middle, dressed up, got on a little blue top and diapers, and he can't lift his head up yet. And the guy on the bed with me, I can't see his face. I just know he's chocolate. He's Nubian. And I'm like, what's going on? Before you know it, a shadow figure came in the room, and I got a gun and started shooting. The shadow figure was trying to take my baby or something. It had no business being there. Shadow figures don't even show up to me in my awake life. You know how some people say you got the shadow figure at the end of the bed with the red eyes? They don't show up. One showed up with blue eyes, but never showed up with red eyes. Now, this shadow figure showed up in the room so fast, like it was trying to take my baby. I started busting, shooting, and I grabbed the baby, and the dream was over. So let me tell you something. So this chocolate, beautiful being, Nubian guy I met, random. He started taking me out to eat. So he said, let's go to Golden Corral. It was a 5 p.m. dinner day. He was like, there's a Golden Corral by my house. Just come over here and we'll go out. So we're at a booth, and there's tables to the left of us. We're at a booth, okay? And on the other side of the booth is other people. But there's tables to the left of us, but they're not right beside us. They're like counter corners. So I could see the table outside of my eye. I could see the tables down the aisle to my left. There's a white family, Caucasian family, to the left of me, out of my counter corner. They're at a 6-seater table. And there's another table right here, and I could see everybody around. I observe my surroundings before I sit down. All of a sudden, out the blue, we done ate. We talking. The white lady just say, So I turn around to see what the lady's saying to. I still don't see what she's saying to. Before I know it, I turn back to look at him like, what is she talking about? And a little boy about 5 or 6 years old came to the table, and he just looked at me like, oh my God, it's really you. It's really you. I'm looking around for his father or parents. First of all, why did this white lady stop this black baby from coming to my table, or attempt to stop the baby from? He wasn't a baby. He wasn't a toddler. He had a cell phone in his hand. But he looked at me like, oh my God, I've been dreaming about you forever. I know you. Like, he looked at me like he was overwhelmed and wanted to relay a message, but his vocabulary did not know where to start. This all happened in like 60 seconds. I looked at him. I looked at the guy that I was with, the chocolate Nubian guy I was with. And I said, why this little boy at the table? And why did that lady randomly try to stop him and she don't even know this child? See, this is what I mean. You got people around you trying to govern your reality. It actually makes me emotional. It makes me emotional that what people go through to govern your reality. So, it didn't dawn on me yet that I had the dream about the little chocolate baby, and he was a Nubian. He wasn't Nubian. He was more mahogany, the little boy. Like, he wasn't getting as much sun as he should be getting. So his father walked up and grabbed his arm. He had to be at least 6 or 7 because he had the cell phone in his hand, and he was well aware when he walked to my table. But he came to me either like he thought I was one of his father's girlfriends, one of his mother's friends, or he totally recognized me from a whole nother world. And he did not know how to say it. He just walked to the table like, oh my God, I made it over here to you. And then his father came, come on, don't bother this lady. And he grabbed his arm and walked him back over to, see the distraction? Do you see this? Somebody's ringing my doorbell. See what I'm talking about? Somebody looking for work. I got some work. I'm about to get off this video. So let me finish real quick. So as we left, I said, the little boy was reminding me, baby, you got to have some children. What is you doing? Don't let the Anunnaki scare you because they tried to pull your green string. The Anunnaki really came to me and was like, how the hell this bitch get this DNA? For real. I promise you. All 7 light beings came down and it was like, oh, hell no, ho. You ain't got no business using this DNA. Yeah, they did. They did. It was crazy. And that made me emotional too. But, so I was explaining this to a good friend of mine. Well, not a good friend of mine, an associate, random ass associate. He random as hell. I said, guess what? The guy that was with me at the Golden Corral, he ain't called me in a few days. So I called him on video chat, and he said he went to work the next day and they laid him off. Laid you off? Yeah, they laid me off. So I went back to Georgia. I say, you went back to Georgia? This is how deep this shit is. This is how deep this shit is. When you're to the point where you're around people strong enough to give you the child to tap in the source, they remove them from your path. Now, how is it that you got laid off the next day? Okay. Now, I got one more example. Another guy I met, we had a good time, beautiful time. And like me being 240 pounds, this guy is so gigantic and strong and big. He made me feel like a shrimp. He made me feel like if I lose 40 pounds, I'll be a crackhead. Like, when he bear hug you and stuff, you just feel like, oh, so helpless, okay? He make you feel small. All of a sudden, we say we gonna start hanging around. No sex or nothing involved. We enjoy the presence of each other. And it's to the point when you like somebody as a friend and you decide to have a child, it's a different chemistry. So all of a sudden, he wasn't on my route no more. He couldn't do my route no more. He had to go find another job. His boss man just all of a sudden out the blue, they jumped his boss man in the psyche and all of a sudden started giving him problems. He had to get a whole nother route. Last but not least, this beautiful being I was around, he said he owed the IRS. But then all of a sudden, the IRS sent him something saying he owed them $10,000 damn dollars. Now, you know how frustrating that is for a man that want to court a woman and got to figure out if he got to pay all this money or not, and he can't actually court you, and and he got to defend his assets and funds with all his life because he already being robbed by one person and he can't have you rob him too. Listen, they deviate people off your path. So the guy told me, the social I talked to on the phone, he said, Sky, remember Terminator? In Terminator, the man said that he would go back in time just to stop certain people from being born. So, woman, you may not be the problem. Man, you may not be the problem. There are people out here that are willing to interfere with your journey and your whole purpose of being on the planet just so that you can't bring an heir into this realm. Highly favored heir. Okay? It's not a coincidence that a little boy came to the table and I had that dream and I had to fight that shadow being off to protect the baby. And some random woman, the little boy came from over that way, from by the stuff to me. And why this random white woman that don't know him say, And I'm looking at her, then I turn back around and look at him, and before I know it, there's a child coming to the table. These people know who we are, and they're trying to interfere with what we're supposed to do, our purpose. And the strongest ones, the strongest genetics ones, they don't want you bringing a highly favored child into this realm. Just think about it, okay? I have to go. Let's see if I get some work done around here.